Hello and a warm welcome to New Money. I'm Bryan Hirsch. In this evening instalment, we are focusing on short-term insurance. There is a perception that short-term insurance is treated as a grudge purchase by many consumers. I often hear, I pay for car and householders insurance, but I never claim, and when I do claim, it's never plain sailing. I certainly do not agree with this, and in previous programs with Edith Teixeira McKinnon, she's head Ombud non-life insurance division, has confirmed that this perception is not correct. What many do not realize is that the insurance is there to pay major claims. Furthermore, it is quite laborious to read your short-term policy from start to finish. But joining me this evening from the first time from the Jurgens Group is Greg Bitts, Managing Director, and Shane Pickles, Sales Manager. Guys, Greg, welcome, and Shane, good to you. You know, we talked about how difficult is insurance. So let's start from the beginning. The first bit of difficulty that I encountered was right insurance. And the whole changes, but the whole industry is changing, Greg. So to you, how are you seeing, you've been in the industry, we worked out 33 years. You know, you're a long way my junior. I've been 59 years in this industry, so you've got 26 years to go to catch up. And I'm sure it's not 1 year 33 times, but 33 years of experience. Yes. But Greg, where's the industry going? I mean, I talked about people worrying about claims, and we'll deal with the smaller claims. Yeah. But just talk about the industry as a whole.
The industry's definitely changed over the past. I mean, post-COVID, that whole Suntime claim that was in the press for a long time, with that ruling that came out, where the policy wordings were saying things that the insurers didn't want it to say, and then it ended up paying out these major claims. And then you had the riots, and then you had those flood claims, and then you've got this grid failure. So the industry absolutely has changed since 2020. And it's creating a lot of policy uncertainty that is happening in the marketplace, and it's creating a lot of pressure with insurance companies, and specifically reinsurers not making money. Year after year, they're not making money, so they're applying downward pressure on the insurance company, and then that in turn is putting more pressure on the insurers with their profitability. And then what happens is things like claims are not getting paid on small, insignificant things at the moment.
And premiums?
Definitely upward pressure on premiums. The motor rates have definitely pushed up on a higher basis because of the fact that there's been a shortage of parts that happened from the COVID time. It seems to be recovering now, but there's absolutely, the rand weakening has created a significant change in terms of the cost pressures on the claims. So yeah, absolutely, the motor book and the thefts of motor vehicles, that's a big thing. So there's a wide range of vehicles that are getting onto insurers' hot lists, that they increasing it. There's certain insurers, if you look at
you mean models?
Models, specific models. They're mentioning the specific models. I can mention the models because they're in the public domain. But so the Hiluxes, the Fortuners, the Ford Rangers getting onto the list. Lexus has got onto the list. The Land Cruisers, a lot of Toyota Rangers are getting there. I mean, it's just that they've just been stolen. And the reason it's putting cost pressure, because a lot of people say, but hang on, Polos get stolen quite often, and why is that? Why that historically? Because there's many Polos in the marketplace, you can see by the volumes of the vehicles that are sold. But why all of a sudden are there highlights that the Polo's not on that list, but however the Fortuner and the Hilux? The problem is that you can't have the same volume of claims, because there, where you have a claim, your average claim cost there on a theft would be 750,000 Rand on average, when you have those high-valued motor cars, and that's putting immense pressure on motor books.
So Shane, so let me ask you, so is Greg alluding to the fact that insurers won't insure those vehicles, or they're putting higher excesses and higher premiums? What is the actually?
So Bryan, they will insure the vehicles, but there are conditions that are imposed. For instance, you need a dual tracking device, so a lot of them have gone that route. And if you don't have that, then yes, you're looking at a possible repudiation if you haven't fitted a dual tracking device into one of those high-risk vehicles, as the insurer calls it. So it is important to take note and chat to your advisor all the time, making sure that the vehicle that you've purchased or have, what are the conditions of the policy, and what do I need to fit to that vehicle so that my theft claim or hijacking claim is paid.
Isn't that the biggest problem? People don't, I mean, Have you? I mean, how many people have read a policy from cover to cover? I must tell you,
Yes.
I have, because I have to.
Yes.
But I tell you something: if you want to go to sleep at night, take out your short-term insurance, take it to bed with you. You don't need sleeping tablets; you'll fall asleep. But just to say, I mean, people aren't reading policies, the terms and conditions,
Yes.
the exclusions, all the things that go, alarm warranties, safe requirements, and all those type of things.
Yes, so again, Bryan, I would say, it's your advisor's job to advise your client. That's what we're here to do. And it's up to us to make sure that the advice we're giving you is correct. So we need to be on top of our game, making sure that we're giving the client the right advice, telling him what tracking devices to fit, making sure that your alarms are activated when your home is unoccupied. And
I've got an email that deals with it. We'll come to that when I get to the emails.
No problem. So yes, it's vitally important that I think, again, a client to liaise with their broker or advisor, make sure that what you're purchasing, what you're paying for is actually going to deliver at claim stage.
You mentioned something about protections. We mentioned about warranties. So, and Shane has mentioned the fact, particularly about, you talk about trackers, protection. He spoke about 2 trackers.
Yeah.
I had a repudiation or question, a repudiation some months ago, where someone did not know that their tracker was not working. So everyone has a tracker fitted, but how often do you have to check this?
Well, it's probably every 6 months you would have to check it. That's probably a policy requirement. But insurers, I think the good insurers effectively have started to notice this. So they've gone to tracking companies and say, please, you check and keep seeing if that device is actually monitoring. So there are insurers now. So that the good insurers have been proactive in the sense that they've now will tell you that tracking device is not working. Please, it'll send a ping to the vehicle, and then it'll tell them it's working or not working. But there are units still out there.
Today, for technology,
Absolutely.
they must be able to do it. And
Correct.
surely the onus should be on them.
Correct. And I think that's where the industry is recognized. I mean, we put a lot of pressure on the insurance companies. We vet. So we're in a fortunate position we can vet our insurance companies. So we don't like insurers that are looking for a little clause. I mean, you mentioned that number earlier, how many, was it your WASP program or whatever that they mentioned that the Ombudsman is paying 33% of the claims. You don't want to land up with that with your insurance policy. You don't want to ask the tough questions at that stage. You just really want to help the client settle the claim as fast as possible and use companies that can have their devices automatically checked by the tracking side. So it takes the onus away from the client. Goes back to those alarm warranties that Shane might have been referring to in terms of house contents. It's becoming a big owner. But to my previous statement, there's a lot of cost pressures on the insurance companies to try and keep the premiums down, but then enforcing these warranties that are on policies, particularly that house contents one, with the burglary, if you've got an alarm warranty in your policy, how severe that warranty is imposed, and the checking of that as well.
And goods kept in safe, even in your home.
Correct. So that's become a policy requirement now, what has been for many years in terms of the value, fortunately, has gone up, that what you need to keep in a safe. But yeah, so it's becoming more and more onerous. And to your point, I don't think anybody, I mean, Bryan, you might have read your policy wording, you probably won in about 1 million. Excuse that.
You think as much
many
as
that? I don't even
one
think
in a million.
that. I mean, we've got a document where we've got what we call a discussion document. So we got a document that we look at all those nigglies that come through our claims department to not catch the client at a claim stage. Be aware that if this happens and this happens and this happens. I mean, you're learning more and more. Like clients are leaving the dog in the house, popping out of the shops for 2 hours, don't put the alarm in, and the policy says you must do it. You must arm the alarm. If you don't arm the alarm, the insurance company is going to repudiate your claim. So there's a little bit of casualness.
Even if it's a human dog.
I think most dogs are human to people because they love their pets and they want to look after them. But it is that is just so onerous that the insurance companies are trying to put pressure on, well, they're under pressure, should I say, in terms of not exponentially getting the premium totally out of control, because it is a cost derivative back to what clients pay for insurance.
So Greg, you mentioned reinsurance. So let me just share with you.
Yeah.
I received a letter from my bankers in NatWest, who I've been with for 50 years.
Okay.
Telling me they're closing my bank account on the 23rd of May. Why? Because of our grey listing. They will not deal with South Africans who have now. How is reinsurance affecting with grey listing? Has reinsurance had any impact with insurers who want to actually...
Well, we have seen some insurers that are leaving the country now because they, for whatever reason, so a lot of they're saying because they want to focus back on where they're based and all the rest of it and go back to their core focus. I do think there's enough insurers in the marketplace, but our reinsurance market is under capacity. And I mean, the capacity is that pulls back from the market like thatch. You can hardly insure thatch estates these days. The insurance market has closed down totally. There was a massive claim out in Mabelongwe, and the guys have pushed back totally on that. So the reinsurance capacities, and again, that is applying the pressure downwards onto the upwards, however you want to look at it, or downwards to the insurer, and then that's straight back onto the consumer. So there's absolute cost.
Shane, is there enough competition in the market?
I think there's plenty of competition in the market. I think, again, from our side, from an advisory side, that's what we've got into. But the competition, again, Bryan, from what we do from an advisory or broking perspective, is try and put ourselves in the client's position. Look at a policy, write the policy as if it was your own, and make sure that you're covering all your bases. And I think that's important when looking for a good advisor or an insurer that you want to deal with, be it either direct or be it on the broking or advisory side.
Now, look, we'll talk about in the next segment. We're going to take a break in a moment, but I want to talk to you about underinsurance, and particularly underinsurance for property, because there's a big confusion. I can't get the price for my property. I'm asking 5 million. I've been offered 3.5 million, but my insured value should maybe 7 million. So so it's like rates and taxes. I mean, everyone's home has been revalued at higher prices than what you can get, which is iniquitous. So, but we're going to take a break. Stay tuned. We're talking short-term insurance. We'll be back shortly.